Hong Kong Airport, 27th of April 2014, a trip to Xiamen. I always enjoy taking a trip. I love to shoot video, but I want to be able to do it in such a way I take people with me. So though you may never get the chance to visit, come and have a look with me. Share the experience of Xiamen China. The name Xiamen means door to the house, referring to the city's centuries-old role as a gateway to China. On arriving, we took a $5 taxi ride to our hotel. That's $4 for the taxi and $1 for the bags. Taxis are cheap, no tip required. "20 minutes later, we arrive at our 4-star $50 hotel, drop the suitcases, and head out for dinner. Chinese food sounds good, and a first glimpse of Xiamen by night. People heading back home to eat, if you see what I mean. We decide on the Lucky Full Chuzhou restaurant. Recommended. The food was excellent.
Well, we're in a Chuzhou restaurant. About to have some good food, and actually, I have the Chuzhou tea. Very nice.
Barbecue pork buns, soup, coconut dessert, savory meat-filled dumplings. As well as tripe noodles and bean curd. Afterwards, we had a leisurely walk back to our hotel, stopping on the way to buy a calligraphy brush. I studied Chinese in the Chinese University in Hong Kong, so tried my hand at ancient Chinese calligraphy. I love the old-style Chinese characters. And interest in calligraphy is so strong here that this man makes a living selling brushes in the street. Great fun. Next morning, a visit to the main attraction here, Gulangyu Island. But first things first, a leisurely walk to Starbucks. It's April, and the temperature is a pleasant 25 degrees. Xiamen was one of 5 Chinese treaty ports opened by the Treaty of Nanking in 1842, at the end of the First Opium War. European settlements were concentrated on the island of Gulang, which is just off the main island of Xiamen. Today, Gulangyu is known for colonial architecture and the tradition of piano playing. It was an early entry point for Protestant missions in China. So we took a taxi to the ferry pier and got our first glimpse of the scenic coastline. Bought the tickets, $2 return, and joined the crowds. All the guidebooks will tell you that the island is almost always crowded, mainly by local tourists. the ferry giving us a tour around the coast. Then, on a nice sunny day, we start the Odyssey. There are actually some nice beaches here, and one can certainly see why the early colonialists liked it. So what's the verdict? There's a lot of walking to be done, as the only vehicles allowed are the electric buggies, and the cost is $4 a ride. There's between 20 and 30,000 visitors a day. There are certainly plenty of tourist trinket sellers. Fascinating scenes. And many snack places, though the prices were about double those back in Xiamen. I can imagine on a sunny day with no crowds, this place would be great. The people were very friendly, and in spite of the vast crowds, I saw very few foreign tourists. There was a distinct lack of deck chairs and bikinis on the beach, sunbathing here replaced by sun-shading umbrellas and hats. There are more umbrellas sold on a sunny day in China than on a rainy day in Manchester. It's certainly a picturesque place, in traditional Chinese style, with pagodas and gardens right on the ocean. It really is a beautiful place, but one which is enhanced by the serenity and tranquility. The highlight of the visit for me was the piano museum. Apparently, 98 antique pianos from all over the world. Some having been played by famous pianists. Even a rare corner piano, not to be played, just for ornamentation. Try finding one like that even on the internet. As we left, an employee gave a short performance. Nearby, the gardens are in the traditional Chinese style and very beautiful. 13 countries had their consulates here, including Britain and Germany. It's actually known as the cleanest city in China, both in terms of pollution and rubbish. I enjoy people watching, but I fear the people watching me were enjoying it more. So as the sun set over Xiamen Island, we boarded the ferry for a less crowded trip back. A tiring but enjoyable day. We then made our way to a large pedestrian shopping area just opposite the ferry pier, where we were confronted with an amazing array of shops and restaurants. On arriving, it reminded me of the time an American tourist in Hong Kong asked me, "Where is Chinatown?" My reply, "Brother, this is just one big Chinatown." Food was great. Bean curd, veg, wild mushroom, Four Seasons bean, sweet and sour pork. But we're tired. Then dessert, fresh fruit yogurt, a great shop here, blueberry flavor. Then another look around. The $4 cup of coffee reached China. I then encountered the youth doing something I've never seen before. Twin skateboards, one for each foot. When they saw my big camera, they did their best for me, while they were doing better before and after the camera rolled. I love this emerging culture. These kids were awesome. Now this is where you saw it first. Some interesting sights here. Some just unbelievable. So very tired, we head back to the hotel. A great day in a great place with great people. Day 2. Another day in paradise. And as usual, it begins with a Starbucks. And yes, I did buy shares a long time ago. And yes, I made a lot of money. And what I made will pay for all the coffee I buy for the rest of my life. Afterwards, we took a taxi to the university campus. That is the Golden Gate Island of Taiwan in the distance. On arriving, we found the quota of 1,000 people a day was full, so we took a walk to the nearby South Putuo Temple. The name Putuo is named after a mythical mountain in the seas south of India, dwelling place of one of the Buddhist bodhisattvas. The Putola Palace of Lhasa is also named after this mountain. Entrance is free of charge. The first hall is the Hall of Heavenly Kings, guarded by elephants and lions, and clearly there's a strong Buddhist culture here. Traditional Chinese folk religion incorporates many aspects of Buddhism. It was first built in the Tang Dynasty, that's 618 to 907, and rebuilt in 1622 in the early Qing Dynasty. The temple was seriously destroyed in the Cultural Revolution in the late 60s and underwent huge renovation in the 1980s. Inside is a courtyard and the Mahavira Hall, surrounded by gold-plated bodhisattvas. At the top of the steps, the Hall of Great Mercy and the Buddhist scripture garret. gardens are beautiful in the traditional Chinese style. The artwork and architecture, very intricate. A very interesting visit that gave insight and understanding into the changing face of China. Then off to visit the Taiwan Cultural Park. But we ended up just eating there and then having a look at the beach where people were getting their wedding pictures taken. Finally, we visit the Zengcuo'an Village, have a coffee and look around. A good place for shopping and eating seafood, as long as you pray that you don't get a dose of Chiang Kai-shek's revenge. The shops are really interesting, the decor and presentation really attractive, and the goods on sale very cheap. It was a very enjoyable walk around and a fantastic place to buy small gifts. Seafood was abundant, though we didn't try it. The fact that it was sitting there in the street cooked for who knows how long tended to raise flags in my mind. And to see them washing oysters above the drain was the clincher. I was fascinated by the vast range of things on sale. Beautiful ceramics, vast arrays of tea, handicrafts of every style, and always fresh fruit drinks. As we drove back to Xiamen, we felt we'd had a great experience of the place. Nothing left but to eat. Bean curd and veggie, beef, pigeon, sweet and sour pork, and in the toilet, one small step for a man, one giant leap for civilization, the original. Final day and a visit to Hulishan Fortress. This is an interesting historic site that is both well preserved and scenic. $3 entrance fee. Its famous gun is listed in the Guinness World Records. Built in 1894, so relatively new. At the top of the hill there are more than 50 iron cannon from the Ming and Qing dynasties and nice views. Some of these cannon were actually retrieved from the sea. The main cannon, produced in 1886, is one of two bought from a German arsenal at a cost of 80,000 taels of silver each. At present prices, that's over $3 million. The length of the cannon, 13.13 meters, and its weight, 50 tons. The caliber, 280 millimeter, and it has a maximum range of 16,000 meters. That's about 10 miles. Guess what the base of the fortress is made of? Any ideas? The answer? A mixture of camphor tree sap, liquid brown sugar, glutinous rice, clay, and sand. I'm sure you guessed. Weather not so good today, but it's time to go home. So we enjoy the last few moments of Xiamen before heading back to the hotel and the airport. A great trip.